The Dallas Cowboys had possibly one of the best first overall draft picks, I think, in the entire 2021 NFL draft. I don't think it's easily a debate. I think Micah Parsons was not only one of the players that caught the league by storm, but he's a player that's going to be a really good player for a long time for the Cowboys. But that's the thing. Those draft picks don't just start there. In fact, we're going to continue with our grading system of the 2021 NFL Draft and those respective teams with their draft picks. So we continue today with the Dallas Cowboys, and I felt like this was a really good draft for the Cowboys. Not only, yes, Micah Parsons gets ones that he's the one that gets all the headlines. I understand it, totally get it. But there's a lot of other players in here that deserve a lot of credit. And if we can just take a look here. So you see a guy like Micah Parsons, a linebacker out of Penn State. 16 games, 16 starts, clearly. 84 total tackles, 13 sacks. I mean, they found a guy that they can that just so versatile, can do a lot of different things. He's a stud, and obviously he was probably one of the I would say he was one of the premier, or at least one of the best players on the defensive side of the football for the Cowboys, no question. Him and Trevon Diggs or Trevon Diggs, however you say it, are both very good football players. So I think moving forward, the Cowboys are going to have a lot of things going for them. They got a young secondary, relatively. They've got a young star and a guy. In my mind, like in Parsons. So I'm really excited to see what he continues to do and what he develops into, because I think he's going to be a really good player for the Cowboys moving forward. So, but in the second round, number 44 overall, the Cowboys selected Kelvin Joseph, a corner out of Kentucky. Played again 10 games, started 2, had 16 total tackles. I gave this grade a C+, because, moving forward, it's just what you get right now, and I think, Kelvin Joseph is going to be a really good player when it's all said and done. But for right now, I believe there were some things that I didn't like in terms of, or at least I was expecting more of an impact from Kelvin Joseph is probably a better way to put it. So, it's tough breaking onto the scene as an NFL football player, especially only playing corner, which is behind quarterback, I think is actually one of the toughest positions to play. Had a 71.2 PFF grade. You absolutely love to see it. I think, he had a good overall season, but I'm expecting a little bit more. Now, could you make an argument for B here? Yes, but Kelvin Joseph, his best football is ahead of him moving forward. In the third round, number 75 overall, the Cowboys selected Osa Odigizua. I think that's one of the only names like that I will ever get right, because it's I listened to all the other draft analysts coming into the 2021 NFL draft, and that's how they said it. So, but defensive tackle out of UCLA here, I had a draft crush on Odigizua. He's going to be a stud. He's going to be a big time player for them in the interior for a long, long time. And I feel like the Cowboys, when you got guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, and Osa Odigizua and all those boys down there, I feel like they're on their way to being so disruptive on the inside, and they've got a lot of really good players that I think are going to really shine in these second and third years for them, moving forward. Because in the first year, the trenches are so much different in the NFL. Everybody can bench press 500 pounds. Everybody's got that speed, that quickness, that strength. So moving forward, I really expect Odigizua to really pick up here and be a bigger part of their defense. Again, you got guys like Randy Gregory on the edge, also DeMarcus Lawrence as well. So, there's a lot of really good football players here. Even Terrell Basham, who I was a big fan of. I think moving forward, the Cowboys need to be really, really proud of where their defensive front is, because they're a really good team. They're going to be a really good team up front, I should say, and I'm excited for it. I really am. So that's kind of what we had there. A B there just to kind of start things out. And I thought, again, he's going to be a lot of big impact players here so far. So third round, number 84 overall. What's that? 9 picks later, Chauncey Golston. I loved Chauncey Golston coming out of Iowa. I felt like he was going to come into an NFL team, make an immediate impact, and he did of sorts for the Cowboys. I played in 15 games, no starts, did have a sack and a 59.7 PFF grade. But if you have any doubts about Chauncey Golston, just look up his Iowa tape. This man can ball. Moving forward, I think, obviously, at some point, DeMarcus Lawrence, I think I said Dexter Lawrence. I meant DeMarcus Lawrence is going to, at some point, Father Time is undefeated, so he'll be out. Randy Gregory as well. So you got two really good players on the edge here. Chauncey Golston, again, I think is going to have something to say about that in terms of filling that spot moving forward. Gave it a B here. Really like the value. I thought Chauncey Golston was a second-round pick, but getting him in the third round was really good value. Still in the third round here, Nashawn Wright, corner out of Oregon State. 13 games, 1 start, had 9 total tackles, and a 45.7 PFF grade. C+. Here's why. It is hard to make any kind of an impact at corner in the NFL, so I gave him a pass here because, the Cowboys have some respectable defensive players. We already talked about Micah Parsons. We talked about already guys like Trevon Diggs. Jaron Kearse is like, nobody talks about Jaron Kearse. And I love Jaron Kearse. He was one of my favorite players in the Vikings for a long time. Guys like 6'4". He's got the height of a linebacker, but also, he's just a really good football player. So nobody talks about that Jaron Kearse, and it's just an absolute travesty in my mind. Anthony Brown is respectable as well. And I think it's hard to make any kind of an impact on a team when you've got those guys on the outside like Trevon Diggs, and then also again guys like Anthony Brown that are on the outside. So overall, I felt like, give Wright a year or two, and I think you could have another quality corner moving forward. In the fourth round, Jabril Cox, linebacker, LSU. Now, I played with a buddy of mine in college, played college football with him that it was always that played high school football with Jabril Cox, and he always used to tell me this man was just of a different world. Now, played in 7 total games, had a couple of tackles, gave him a C+ here. Listen, watch Jabril Cox when he was at North Dakota State. Watch Jabril Cox when he was at LSU. This guy is a difference maker. It's only a matter of time before he sees the field and never looks back. I'm telling you, Jabril Cox he's a man now. He is a man out there, and I think he's going to really shine moving forward. Now, where will he play? I think, obviously a linebacker, but, as far as, if Leighton Vander Esch or a guy like, Keanu Neal, who's more of a middle guy, here's the thing. You just don't take Micah Parsons off the field, but you find a way to get a guy like Jabril Cox on it, too. It's like the Vikings that had the problem they had with Aaron Henderson a couple of years ago. A really good football player, and just needed to find a way to get him on the football field. Even a lot of other guys that the Vikings have right now. And I think, the tough part is you just got to find ways to get players on the field that, in my mind, that can contribute, that bring a different kind of a skill set to how it goes. And, I think, there's a lot of players in the NFL that have different skill sets and are on different teams. Like Cameron Bynum for the Vikings, the safety. He's behind Harrison Smith, who's a future Hall of Famer, or at least in my mind, or hopefully. And it's tough to get on the field when you're behind somebody like that. And, I mean, let's be real. Jabril Cox behind Micah Parsons might not see the time of day here, but he's a good linebacker. He deserves a shot, and I think he will get it with the Cowboys and never look back. Man, him and Micah Parsons as outside linebackers, that's got to be nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. In the fourth round, 138 overall, Josh Ball, a tackle out of Marshall. Didn't play any snaps this year from what I had seen on injured reserve. So, I think they were really needing some depth, needing some quality players. I think he's going to be a good player. Now, off-field issues aside, I do feel like Josh Ball can do a lot for this football team. And, the only thing I can say about his off-field situation is, obviously you hope he learned from it. You'll hope that, and you pray for everyone involved in that situation. But just from a player standpoint, I think he could be a good player and a depth piece for the Cowboys. Fifth round, 179 overall, Semi Fehoko. I loved Semi Fehoko. This man, he's big, he's tall, and I think there was an article recently that I read that said something about him and Amari Cooper that have developed a really good relationship. Now, he only played 7 offensive snaps. Nice, Colton. That's my greatest amount of spelling ever. Wow, that's not good. Overall, though, Semi Fehoko, he's a really good football player. He's a standout player that I think if you can get him on the outside and just kind of teach him the ropes, and him and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and all those boys can get together, he can be a red zone weapon. He really could. He can jump out of the building. He's he's really tall, got long arms, can run. So I think moving forward, he's going to be a bigger part of the offense, and I'm excited to see what the Cowboys do with him. In the sixth round, number 192, the Cowboys selected Quentin Bohanna, defensive tackle out of Kentucky. Played in 14 games, had 1 start and 10 tackles. I just really like the value here. Overall, I feel like this is one of those guys. It reminds me a lot of the Shamar Stephen draft pick for the Vikings back in the day. You go back, you get a guy in the 6th or 7th round, or Armand Watts for that matter. You get big guys in the middle that come out and make an impact for the first season and then really come into their own. So we could see Bohanna become a big part of their defense, but for right now I give it a C+ because I think it's an average pick-ish. Well, B is average, but so yeah, you can make the average. You can make that argument. It should be a B here, but overall I give it a C+ because if you're playing 14 games and start 10, you'd like to see a little bit more production, but overall I think Bohanna is going to be a really good player for the Cowboys. 6th round, still number 227, Israel Mukamua. Yes. Safety, South Carolina. I believe he only played in 4th games, mainly on special teams. That's exactly what the end of this these 7th round and 6th round is supposed to be. It's supposed to be those guys that you bring in on special teams, you bring in to fill out the rest of your roster, and you see what they do. So I'm really excited to see what he does moving forward. In the 7th round, number 238 overall, the Cowboys selected Matt Farnioik, guard, Nebraska. Listen, I'm gonna butcher all these last names. Guys, you're just going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry. Played in 23 total snaps for the Cowboys, 80.0 PFF grade. I think this was a big key. I think I had Matt F., there we go, as a 4th or 5th round pick back when we did pre-drafting stuff. So I think he's going to be a really good player for him down the line, and I think he could really bring a lot for their offensive line in terms of depth, and also maybe a potential starter. You never know. Those we've seen a lot. I think it was Ian Rappaport, whoever it was. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Somebody put out an article the other day about how you don't need to use first-round draft picks. He actually mentioned the Cowboys, and you don't need to use all these first-round draft picks on your offensive line. We're seeing more of a shift on towards teams that just draft these players in the later rounds and then develop them, which I think is it's the way to go in my opinion. But so that's it. That's what we had for grading the Cowboys 2021 NFL draft picks. A lot of great players in there. Micah, Parsons, all going to be. If he continues at this rate, I think Hall of Fame is definitely not out of the question. Kelvin Joseph, you expect him to keep moving forward, being a big part of that defense. Also, Digizua, I love that name. Big part in the middle up there. So, but just top to bottom, I thought this was a great draft class. Just mainly defensive side. Wait, were all these? Yeah, mainly 90% was like defensive side of the football, and that's the area that the Cowboys needed to improve the most. So you love what they did there, and I think a lot of those picks are going to be able to shine through for them and do a lot for them. So, but let's know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support and all the love you guys have given us. We love every single one of you, and we deeply appreciate it. In the description down below, you find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, make sure you put it in the comment section down below, or send us an email. We switched it up today on you. Keep it on your toes. Send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com, or just make sure you guys put in the comment section down below. Man, okay, well, that's just how it goes. But let us know what you guys think of our overall draft grades for the Dallas Cowboys 2021 NFL Draft.